my biggest
One of the first things I'm
wish.
going to show you are these blades. We have two different kinds. This is a Mac blade, and you can remember that because it's curved. And this is a Miller. It's straight, 2 L's. And one thing you notice is it has a light right there so that you can see when you're intubating. And you hold it like this. So the differences between these is that when you are using this to intubate, you always intubate with your left hand, no matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. You use these blades for 2 different things. The Mac, it goes into a space above the epiglottis, and I might insert a picture of what that view will look like. Find the glottis, and then the Mac goes right above it into that space. So you put this above the epiglottis into a space that's called the vallicula, and indirectly, when you push it, it lifts the epiglottis up and allows you to view the glottal opening to stick in your ET tube. The difference with the Miller, is that you directly use this to move the epiglottis out of the way. The Miller directly lifts the epiglottis, and you'll lift the epiglottis and then be able to intubate underneath it. These oropharyngeal airways, these go into the mouth and kind of move the tongue out of the way. A lot of times you use this right after you give something, say like fentanyl, that causes respiratory depression. And before you ever, paralyze someone, you want to make sure that you can ventilate them and bag them with the mask. And it moves the tongue, it kind of depresses the tongue and opens up the airway a little bit more. So there's always different sizes. I also have here, these are the nasal pharyngeal airways. And you can guess it goes through the nose. And they also have different sizes. Some of them have a color, some aren't see-through. It's just another pathway to get to the airway. An NP, nasopharyngeal airway, is tolerated better by patients that are awake. Contraindication to using this is if your patient had a bleeding issue, clotting issue, because that area is very highly vascularized. So back to this LMA. This is also called a supraglottic, so it sits above the glottis. And this gets filled up, and it doesn't protect the airway as much as what we're going to talk about next, which is your ET tube. So like I said, it doesn't protect it as much, so you could have gastric content still coming up. And you do not want to use these if you have your patient prone, like I said, because it doesn't protect the airway, and severe GERD, because then your reflux can come right past your tube. ET tubes, these ones a lot of people are familiar with. If you look on Grey's Anatomy, or not Grey's Anatomy because they do a good job, but if you look at some shows on Lifetime, they use these as an ET tube and have them sticking out of their mouth. This is actually a yank hour. Actually, I don't know exactly how you're supposed to pronounce it, honestly. And they have this sticking out someone's mouth, and this is not an ET tube. It's a suction. Anywho, back to the ET tube. One of the most protective types of airways because of this little balloon here. This protects your airway from preventing gastric contents from going up because of this. I'll put a little bit of air in it, and this balloon that inflates right there. Now it can cause damage, but you like the protection from this. Other little attributes of it, it has what this is called Murphy's eye. So if this were to be stuck against tissue, you still have another opening to where air can be given directly into your airway. When someone says 20 at the lip, 22 at the lip, that is what they're talking about here. And you get an internal diameter. This is a 6.5 tube. And it has a stylet. Let me deflate this. You use a stylet to kind of give it some shape. It's this here. That you use to inflate air to fill up this. And if you press it in your ICUs, this is a good teller of how much air is in this balloon. So that's your ET tube. Different sizes as well. In my last video, I did a simulation of this machine checkoff, and we use a mnemonic called Miss Maids to guide us in preparing our OR room to make sure that we don't forget anything. So first is machine. Then you want to make sure you have suction on and working. Put it at the head of the bed. Next thing is monitors. So you make sure that you have your blood pressure, EKG, end tidal, SpO2, a temperature probe, and a peripheral nerve stimulator if you need it. After that is your airway. So you had M, S, M, A, airway. And those are all the things that out of the drawer that I showed you guys. I stands for IV. You make sure that you have your IV equipment, an extra IV kit if you need. I'm not taking them all out right now. Next is D for drugs. That's the next video I'll probably do for you guys. And then S for supplies. So bear hugger, BIS monitor, OG, and any other random supplies that you could think of. So stay tuned for the next video, y'all. Say bye, mannequin. With my teeth.